All right, sir. I would like to welcome everyone to the Madison Fire District March 17th, 2021 virtual regular session meeting at 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Gottner.
Here.
Mr. Lee.
Here.
Mr. Vest.
Here.
Mr. Wayman.
Here. Would everyone please join me in a moment of silence to remember family, friends, and neighbors, and members of the military and our safety forces who are no longer with us. Please join me. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn the full-time swearing-in ceremony over to Chief Baker and our solicitor, Mrs. Dane.
Lincoln 293680.
Hi, Stacy. Miss Dame, I'm going to introduce these folks if you don't mind.
He's going into the other room, Mrs. Dane, to start naming the people.
Expired March 9th, 2021. He's 46, showing valid, no one.
Chief, if you can hear us, you're muted.
They were on screen earlier, now they're off screen.
They're on my screen, but I cannot hear them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're on screen. Brian needs to unmute the mic.
Okay.
How we doing?
There we go.
Now I can hear you.
Well, that's all right. They're already up here. So before you are the four people that the officers made recommendations for full-time employment: firefighter Joe Romisher, firefighter Mike Brewer, firefighter Corey Baker, and firefighter Steve Silvestro. And because of COVID last year in April, we hired another firefighter who didn't have the opportunity to have an official swearing in. So a year late, I would invite firefighter Mike Brush up. And if each of you would have your family members come up. And if the family member, yes.
Just for purposes of identification, since I have to know exactly which one is which, can you have them identify themselves for me?
Mike Brewer, Corey Baker, Steve Silvestro.
Is it just me, or can you understand what they're saying? Anybody else?
No.
Okay, it's not just me then.
No, I couldn't tell who was who.
Me neither.
Mike Rush, Joe Romisher, Mike Brewer.
Maybe they could raise their hand. Right, raise your hand.
Mike Rush, Joe Romisher, Mike Brewer, Corey Baker, Steve Silvestro.
Did you get it, Stace?
I have it.
Okay. Good enough. If not, we'll clarify one more time for you. I will get out of the way and let you administer the oath.
Yes, gentlemen, if you could please raise your right hand. And you'll repeat after me. I am going to have a point where you say I, and then you are going to say your individual name. And that's what we're going to start with. So I, state your name.
I, Steven Silvestro,
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and will obey the laws of the United States and of the state of Ohio, that I will in all respects observe the resolutions and policies
observe the resolutions and policies
of the Madison Fire District
of the Madison Fire District
and will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of full-time firefighter paramedic. Congratulations.
And
At this time, I would like to thank every one of you and thank you for your service and welcome aboard.
if you'd like to have your chosen loved one pin the badge.
And Chief, I just want to remind you, make sure that they sign their oath so that I can see them do it on camera, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, we'll wait till everybody gets pinned. All right, now that everybody's done, I'm going to ask Firefighter Brush to sign his oath for you. Stacy? Or Miss Dane? Firefighter Joe Romisher. Firefighter Mike Brush. Or Brewer, I'm sorry, Mike Brewer. Too many mics. Firefighter Corey Baker. And Firefighter Steve Silvestro. And congratulations, gentlemen and families, and welcome to the fire district.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone again and welcome aboard. Anybody else have anything they want to add to it? Okay. Thank you, Chief and Mrs. Dane.
You're welcome.
There seems to be quite a video delay between the meeting room and what we're seeing.
About 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's a good 45 second delay. I don't know why it's so delayed, the video is, but it is. Maybe the chief will have to work that out in the future because I'm not sure why that is.
Are you talking about the delay in buffering?
Sorry, Chief?
Are you talking about the delay between YouTube and?
Yes.
So.
And actually seeing the people, there's a big delay between pinning them and then seeing them sign their documents.
Okay, for you all, that's a broadband. We can have some offline discussion about we're maximizing the broadband available. Do you want family to stay?
Hey, as long as Stacy's okay with it.
They can all leave if they're
Whether
like,
it's
they can take pictures, Terry, do whatever they want to do.
A minute.
Yeah, they've all acknowledged the documents are there. They're in the possession of the fire district, and they've all acknowledged it's their signature.
Terry.
In a delay, I did.
Will you grab the oaths?
Their documents, so I'm comfortable with that.
Right.
Will you grab the oaths, the papers?
Then we'll move on.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes for February 17th, 2021 regular session? Is there a motion?
Do you have that motion, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Gauntner.
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Vest.
Yes.
Mr. Wayman.
Yes.
All right, may I have a motion for the bills and payroll for February 20th, 21? Bills at $62,073.62. Payroll $143,512.93 for a total of $205,586.86. and 55 cents. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we approve the bills and the payroll.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Thank you, sir. How bad did that look?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Gottner,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Wayman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
No. What's that?
Okay, we come to the February
That's all right, I got
2021
muted.
financial report. Ms. Clapp, you have anything?
Sure,
I'm reading
I
from
can
the
read a
fund source.
summary report. And we started February with $1,074,334.44. Our month-to-date revenue was $525,624.01. And that's because we got $500,000 of a property tax advance. Our year-to-date revenue was $593,431.66. Again, our month-to-date expenditures was $205,586.55. Our year-to-date expenditures was $423,371.90.
Chief, we're having a problem with Mrs. Clapp. I'm not sure. I couldn't hear on some of that what she said.
Yeah, it may be on her end. I had the
And
same
you're
issue.
Muted. Chief, you're muted.
It may have been on her end. I think it may be the internet. If she, Joanne, can you try again?
Sure. So we started February with $4,074,334.44. Our month-to-date revenue was $525,624.01. Our year-to-date revenue is $593,431.66. Our, again, month-to-date expenditures was $205,586.55. Our year-to-date expenditures is $423,748.76. We're starting March with $4,394,371.90.
I heard all that. Thank you. Is there any questions from Mr. Clapp? Or Ms. Nobody has any questions. All right. Thank you. We'll move on to legal counsel. Mrs. Dane?
Besides the resolutions that I was asked to prepare, which we'll address later, I have nothing specific for the board tonight.
Anybody have any questions from Mrs. Dane? Okay, thank you. Anybody have any committee reports?
Mr. Chairman, nothing from my end.
Okay, Chief, thank you. I missed open public portion. Do we have anybody from the public?
We have received no email questions as of yet.
Thank you, that was my mistake, I jumped over. Old business, anybody have anything for old business? Okay, we'll move into new business. The first three resolutions, 05, 06, 07, I'm gonna have Ms. Clapp read those for her, and then I'll ask for a motion in that. Ms. Clapp, would you want to start?
Sure. Resolution number 21-05 is a resolution authorizing the physical officer of the Madison Fire District to reallocate or reappropriate of funds from the General Fund 1000, specifically the Contingency Fund 1930-930-00 to the General Fund account Health Savings Account 1,220-229-2500, from the General Fund 1000, specifically the unappropriated, to the Miscellaneous Capital Project 4901-760-310-000, Professional and Technical Service and Capital for the radios of the General Fund going to 1,760-740-5000 and declaring an emergency.
Is there a
The-
motion?
Do you want me to explain this? for
I'm
you?
sorry?
Do you want me to explain what this is for?
If you would.
Okay. The reason we're doing the health saving is for the hiring of the new full-time, 4 full-timers we have, and that is 4,000. The capital on the radios is just $2,671.80 because they got a grant for the remaining balance. And then the capital, project one that I put in capital was the 54,500 was for the, System 2 engineering, professional services.
Thank you for explaining that. Is there a motion for 21-05?
You have that motion, Lee.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Wayman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Clapp, you want to go on to the 2106?
Sure. Resolution number 2106 is a resolution approving and amending the permanent appropriations for current expenses and other expenditure of the Madison Fire District, Lake County, Ohio during the period ending December 31st, 2021. And this appropriation amendment is in reference to all the transfers that we just had.
Right. Is there a motion for resolution 21-06?
You have that motion, Mr. Chairman, Vest.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman. Wayman.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Wayman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to resolution 2107.
Sure,
Yes.
resolution number 2107 is a resolution authorizing the fiscal officer to amend the certificate of estimated resources for the year 2021 and declaring an emergency. This is so I'm receiving in the money for the MARS grant that they received under state grants of $10,000, and then us putting the unappropriated to the capital 4901 major projects of the 54,500. Those are the two changes.
Thank you. Is there a motion for resolution 2107?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion. Wayman.
Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Wayman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to resolution 2108. I'm going to need a motion for resolution 2108, a resolution recognizing National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Is there a motion?
So moved. Lee.
Is there a second?
Second, Adams.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wayman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to resolution 2109. I'm going to turn these over to Mrs. Dane. Mrs. Dane?
Resolution number 21-09 is a resolution authorizing and approving the utilization of MedAccount Management, Inc. as the exclusive billing agent for the Madison Fire District EMS services pursuant to the terms of the client services agreement and authorizing payments as required under the agreement. The agreement was attached as an exhibit. It does provide for a 3-year term at a rate equal to 6.625% of the gross amount collected minus any deductions or that sort of thing. I did have a chance to review the agreement in full. Besides the rate change in the term, which were negotiated by Chief Baker, the agreement was basically identical to the one that we previously signed and agreed to. The only change was they did add an additional exhibit, an exhibit F, and all that exhibit does is basically identify a number of terms. I think just to make sure that all of the EMS departments are on the same page with regards to definitions for Medicare billing. But that's basically all it is definitions under the regulations. So that's it.
Is there a motion for resolution 21-09?
You have that motion, Mr. Chairman, Vest?
Is there a second?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I can clarify the negotiation.
Go ahead, sir.
This was the contract previously we signed 4 years. My predecessor, Chief Lutz, signed it in March. The renewal came in with a 0.5% increase in their premium from 6.5 to 7. They also like to lock down long-term contracts, and they typically do 4 or more. I did talk to several people there, and we negotiated 2 things. One, I had the numbers to kind of validate the fact that our revenue per run has been up, which meant their reimbursement per run was up, which didn't necessarily warrant the 0.5% increase. They conceded, and we met halfway at a 0.2 or 0.125. I'm sorry, it was 0.25%, and now it's 0.125. And the other thing I was concerned about was the length of the contract, because in my own opinion, I think it's lazy to sign long-term contracts because it doesn't put us both at the table to really examine their performance. So they did agree to 3 years, which if things work out, will carry over to the next chief, but not lock him into something long-term, so that you guys can have discussions later. So that's how we came up with 3 years and the 6.625.
Any questions for Chief Baker or Mrs. Dane? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Vest,
Yes.
Mr. Wayman.
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Dane, you want to do resolution 2110?
Yes, this is resolution number 21-10, a resolution accepting a grant from the Ohio Department of Commerce, Division of State Fire Marshal, specifically a 2021 Marks grant in the amount of $10,000.00. And it's my understanding that this grant is going to be used to purchase radios with the next resolution as well.
Can I have a motion for resolution 21-10?
Yeah, that motion, Adams.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Vest,
Yes.
Mr. Wayman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Dame, you wanted resolution 2111, please?
Yes, this is a resolution authorizing the purchase of 4 portable Motorola radios per the attached proposal and specifications in an amount not to exceed $12,671.80 from Motorola Solutions, Inc., as approved and specified through the Ohio Department of Administrative Services, DAS Office of State Purchasing Cooperative, and authorizing payments provided pursuant to the DAS pricing schedules and the Ohio SDS contract. So this is for the purchase of the radios. The total cost is $12,671.80. My understanding is $10,000 from the Marks grant is going to be used to purchase those radios, leaving obviously the fire district with the balance of the $2,671.80 coming out of the general fund. I did upload the exhibit with the breakdown of what we were purchasing with the resolution for the board's review.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion for resolution 21-11?
Mr. Chairman, I so move to adopt resolution 21-11.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Any discussion?
I would just like to thank the East End Fire Chiefs and Lieutenant Fallhammer, who did the legwork on behalf of Madison, for $10,000 in grants.
Nice, very nice.
Okay.
Here, here.
Okay, nobody has any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Gantner,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
yes,
Mr. Vest,
Yes.
Mr. Wayman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to Chief's report. Chief Baker?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anniversaries this month, our one and only fiscal officer, Joanne Clapp, completed 36 years. We have a landmark here, almost a landmark, firefighter Jim Turek, 39 years. I just want that to sink in for a minute. 39 years. Firefighter George Budzicki completed 4 years. The financial overview, revenue through February looks good. It's actually kind of too early to project, obviously, taxes and EMS. Our overtime expense was still high. I am pleased to let you know that last week, I believe we had 14 overtime shifts, 14 open shifts and 5 overtime shifts. The new calendar that we begin next Monday that implements the new full-time fellas, we have, I believe there are only 3 open shifts now and 1 overtime shift. So that significantly impacts our ability to staff. Call volume was about 250, that's about average. Fire inspections are going well. There were questions about the revenue and costs last month, and there's some information that's been uploaded for review. One thing to consider is we did cease fire inspections for a period of time last year and actually had our inspector basically scan all of our old documents into electronic format so that we have easier access and maintenance. Vehicles, we started our 2021 vehicle prevention program, sent some squads out to get PM'd. Otherwise, there's nothing really significant with vehicles. The radio, the $10,000 in radios, getting 4 radios for $2,500 or $2,600 is a step in the right direction. I'll take those kind of purchases all day long. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, the budget's solid. I hope to see things begin to shift back now that we've made some staffing changes. And other than that, I would take questions from the board.
Anybody have any questions for the chief?
I have a question for the chief, not regarding what he's just reported on, but as far as the third package of the stimulus, do you have any idea what you're going to receive?
I'm going to guess the same thing that we received in the first and second, because as a fire district, we got 0. So pardon me?
You don't know that for sure what you're going to get, or if you're going to get?
I'm not sure that they included fire districts this time, because they did not include fire districts last time. And my guess is going to be based on the thoroughness of those passing it, that probably nobody was there paying attention to the few of us that were left out the last time. So I'm not anticipating anything, but I am paying attention.
Okay. It might be worthy of an inquiry, maybe to Mr. Joyce.
I can do.
Mr. Biden.
Well, yeah. Well, good luck.
Good luck with that. I don't think. Yeah.
But Mr. Joyce might have something that might help you out there. You know.
I will follow up with him.
Yep, that's probably your best bet.
And actually, Mr. Chairman, I did forget one other thing that I have stuck right here to my screen. One of the 5. I did forward emails to the board, 2 separate emails from Andy Twaski, I think is his last name, from CT Consultants. He sent an initial drawing that was a bit confusing. I asked questions about the various phases, and he sent a follow-up drawing that kind of outlines what their plan is. There are 3 phases in the process. Phase 1 is a 28 by 30 exterior addition. Phase 2 is modifying part of the existing bathroom to laundry room, and then phase 3 is the balance of that bathroom into a half bath. I did talk to him and suggested that when we move forward, having a breakout of what each of the phases cost, because phase 1 really does significantly address our problem. If you have any questions that you would like me to forward to CT, I would be more than happy to. I know I did have discussions with Mr. Gautner and Mr. Anderson when we received them, just to make sure everybody got them and knew what they were looking at. And if there's any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer that as well.
Anybody have any questions for the chief?
Yeah, I did, just real quick. Did you ever get a chance to get in contact with Sidley's about the driveway?
I am currently playing phone tag with a vendor. It's a local vendor, and in our emails back and forth, I'm hoping that he can direct me to a specific, because I did call Sidley's and the person that answered the phone clearly wasn't the department that I needed and didn't seem to understand where to direct my call. So I've been playing phone tag with Pot Eye, and he even mentioned to me talking to Sidley. So hopefully once we connect, I can get some direction from somebody who's a little better connected, because I would like to see them come out and examine that concrete. Be glad that you're not coming here for meetings, because the driveway is not improved.
Yeah, I know, I've seen it.
I'm
Thanks.
still working on that though, Mr. Adams.
Chief, you might want to give Mr. Bailey a call. He might have a number that'd be a little better for you.
I will give him a call tomorrow.
I'm sure he'll have something for you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, asking that question, Mr. Adams, I was there yesterday. We discussed it, the chief and I, and he was talking to Tommy, and he's been waiting for calls on that. So I've been pushing him too there. Thank you.
If any board members have any contractors that they would like to guide me to, I will tell you that currently I'm not sure what's going on, but it doesn't seem like I put 3 calls out previously and got 0. Mr. Poteye and one other gentleman are the only 2 that I've talked to. I'm not sure whether there's an abundance of work. I'm not sure, but we're going to continue to work. Something has to happen in the spring here.
Is Rod Wiley still doing concrete?
He had a medical condition the last time I talked to him. I'm not sure that he is back to 100% and doing work yet.
Okay. I don't know of anybody else. So if I do think of somebody else.
Yeah, please let me know.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief? Okay, Chief, any closing public portion?
Stand by. If you guys could see what I'm looking at, you'd understand. No, sir, I have no email questions from the general public.
Okay. Now I'm going to need a motion to go into executive session, discuss personnel, employment, hiring, compensation, and audit discussion. Is there a motion?
Yeah, that motion, Mr. Chairman, Vest.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call? Roll call? Nyla, you're mute. There you go.
I'm good now, thank you. Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Vest,
You're mute.
Yes, I'm sorry.
no
Muted.
problem. Mr. Wayman,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Gautner.
Yes.
Time is 7:34.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes, sir.
just so that the board is aware, because this is our first time doing this, I am going to go to a different computer, and you're going to see, I'm going to drag you into the breakout room, which is the executive session room. You will probably have something pop up on your screen that says that you've been invited to such room. If you will simply select join, this process is going to take a minute or so, and then we'll meet on the other side.
That's fine. Thank you, Chief.
Business to follow. Mr. Anderson, will there be business to follow?
Yes, there will be. No business to follow. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stand by. Stand by one moment. This worked just fine a little bit ago.
You got a bar above that says breakout rooms are in session.
Yes, I had this set up in advance to try to make this process easier. I just have to make sure I'm picking all the right people.
Okay.
You should notice some people potentially disappear in here. Let's see, Adams, Gautner, Vest, Max, Peter, Lee, and y'all have something pop up?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I got to go to the other room. I'll see you there.
All right, I'm joining.
Chief, you didn't get me for the audit.
Let me do the first part first, and then I'll pull you in.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Yep, I'll wait here.
Do we have everybody?
I'll keep you company. I gotta make sure the feed goes off.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what? I can pull Joanne and we can talk audit first. You want to do that? Then we can cut her loose. Let me go back. I think Pete may have fallen through the crack. Joanne, I am going to bring you in. We'll do you first.
Okay.
Hey, Terry.
Yeah, just so you know, the feed is still active.
Okay.
I don't see anybody, but the feed is still active.
Okay, can you do me a favor? I'm going into Joanne's office. If Mr. Wayman pops back up, will
On the
you?
main screen here?
Yeah, will you text me because he left the meeting?
Okay.
Yeah, so just shoot me a text. Thank
Okay.
you. So Mr. Wayman apparently didn't hit join. He must have hit leave. So Captain Sopko's in the other room and he's going to monitor it for me.
Hey, Mr. Wayman, stand by. I'll let Todd know you came back in. Stand by.
Thank you.
You got him, Todd?
I heard you in the other room. All right,
Okay.
Pete, I'm gonna drag you. You're gonna see something that says join room, and click join.
Okay, got it.
All right, and so you said, Terry, everything's pretty much.
Yeah, the only thing that's on there right now is it's just the blank chair, but it's still recording.
Okay, that's perfect. That's what it needs to do. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Stand by again, Mr. Wayman. He should be right back.
Okay, thank you, Terry.
Technology, gotta love it.
Yeah, especially for an old farmer like me.
Yeah.
We'll try it again here, Pete.
I ain't too far behind you, Pete.
Do you see something that says you've been invited to a different room?
I see the breakout rooms are in session.
Oh, hang
I
on.
don't see the other thing yet. But that's what I clicked on before. I clicked on join and it just went out.
That's
It's my
bizarre.
third and final try.
Okay. Did you get
This
it?
don't work. This don't work. I'm going to the bottom.
We'll try it again, Terry. I'll leave here, hang on.
Wonder if we lost Pete for good.
This is like playing the escape room or something.
Mr. Adams, you should come up here and see what it looks like for me.
No, they.
All right, I know those guys were chatting. I'm pulling them out. Boom. So it's got a 30-second countdown, and we should see people popping back.
Hey,
Hey, it worked.
hey,
Thought
Stacy,
Pete was gonna pop up.
just turn your camera up so I can see what's the and lounge. I can't see the top of your.
Okay, all right, we're reconvening back into our regular meeting at 7:58. Is there a motion that we need to address? Mrs. Dane, would you wanna?
Yes, it would be a motion to approve the posting of an administrative assistant position opening for flexible hours, somewhere between 20 to 24 hours a week in the local paper and internet, and also locally at Station 3.
I didn't see her lips move.
I did. Okay, is there a motion?
You have that motion, Mr. Chairman, Vest?
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Oh,
You don't have Nyla.
so Mr. Gautner,
Yes.
Mr. Vest,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Okay, we're at closing board comments. Any closing board comments?
Just one, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
And that's just for the chief. Chief, just, you and we're gonna make sure she knows about all this, right?
Yes, we did have a conversation.
Good. I just want this to be a surprise, and yeah.
I actually spoke before I made the request with the board. I thought it was fair for her to know where we were going.
Right.
Thank you, Chief. I knew you would.
Okay, no further. Next fire board meeting will be April 21st, 2021 at 7 p.m. and May 19th at 2021 at 7 p.m. No further business. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
The chairman, so
Go ahead, Mr. Gautner.
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second, Adams.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Gautner,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Vest,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.